So yeah, today we are at the Utah Motorsport campus, and we have the Onyx Reynolds Aston Martin V8 Vantage. This thing is absolutely awesome. We'll get some clips of driving it in a little bit. But yeah, we are waiting for this really sick Porsche 906 race car, and we are taking it out on the racetrack, and we are shooting photos and video with it. We've got a ton of photographers and videographers here, and it's going to be absolutely insane. Dude, that is so sick.
All right, so we got
Look at this thing.
Go ahead on the track.
Beautiful vehicle.
You're ready.
A girl shot with his legs out the car.
No, totally fine.
Dude, this thing is insane.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think of that?
So crazy.
Also, welcome back to the channel since Cars for Kids.
Thank you. Happy to be
Dude, Hunter's here too. Got a bigger Cars for Cruise Kids
Derek.
crew going. Got Tanner right there. Let's shoot this Porsche 906.
He's been building Hollywood cars for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. They said, what is it going to take to pull you out of retirement to build the cars for Ford versus Ferrari? And his response was, well, I got two conditions. One, I want a blank check budget so I can build these cars right. Like, I want to build them to spec. They're not going to be prop cars. They're not going to be kit cars. They're going to be like full-blown track-ready race cars. Sure. And they're going to be accurate to size and dimensions and proportions. And he said the second condition is I don't want to be paid for this, but when the movie's over, I want all the cars. So 20th Century Fox was like, sure, whatever, this is great. So the movie wins a bunch of awards, it does really, really well in box offices, and then a guy knocks on his door and he's like, hey, I'm with 20th Century Fox, I've got 87 cars. What do you want? Where do you want them? So he parks like all these cars in his hangar. And they say, look, like you can't sell these at auction. You can't publicly attach our name to it. But if you want to sell them privately, you can. So my dad happened to know this Billy guy, and he came over to my house, my dad and my mom, to babysit our son. And he was like, hey, look, I just got word that the cars from that movie are available, and I think there's a couple of the 906s. You should reach out to this guy. And so like. I don't remember where in the movie, I don't remember what the movie was. But I remember where I sat in the movie theater because I was just frantically texting this dude, like, I gotta have this car, what is it gonna take? So anyways, I put a deposit down, and then like in 72 hours, all the cars had been purchased sight unseen.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah, so a couple weeks later, I drove out to Oxnard, picked it up, transported it over to Thousand Oaks where my grandparents live, and left it there, and then 2 weeks later, COVID happened. So like, transporting anything over state lines was just impossible.
Right.
And then you see how low it is to the ground, how long it is. It's just a really difficult car to transport. So for like 4 months, I was calling up, all kinds of different companies trying to tow it, trying to transport it back, and I just couldn't. And then I remember there's a loophole when it comes to the 60s. So in endurance racing in the 60s, they required that all contenders had the car street legal and homogenized. So they had to have brake lights, tail lights, review mirrors, they needed to pass emissions. And the idea was that if these cars can endure 24 hours of just being pushed to the limit, that they would be ideal for like mass production afterwards. Well, none of the race companies were like had the budget nor the scope to be like, we want to build out hundreds of thousands of these race cars. So they would pass the bare minimum, and then most of them they would just scrap or repurpose for the next year. So because the car was so stinking accurate, I got grandfathered in under the 60s laws. So I was like, screw it. I'm not going to transport it. I'll just drive it home. So I drove back out to California, picked it up, and in the middle of June, drove 800 miles back to Utah in this thing.
Oh, geez.
No, So it's got like all modern technology, but it just looks like a car from the 60s. So
wow.
Scored.
Yeah.
So low.
That's so cool.
So 1 p.m. in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
It's 105. Yeah, no problem. It's 105 degrees outside.
Also, we should probably.
It's 105 degrees outside. It's just like, we've got an eighth of an inch of sheet metal between me and the engine, right? This green tint just makes it like So it's
So
literally
hot.
like a greenhouse, right?
Yeah,
so it's
so
105
hot.
degrees outside. It's 130 degrees inside the cockpit.
You can't
it's
roll the
so
windows down
loud
anyway.
your ears begin to ring after sitting in this car for about an hour. You see how uncomfortable it is, right?
It's almost as comfortable as it looks.
I'm happy you came here.
So I'm in my boxers. I've got this gallon jug of water. I've been driving for 6 hours straight. I'm sweating, and I'm in this hot oven deathbed.
That spray fan,
right?
keeping
I've
you
got
cool.
this tiny little fan. I didn't
Yeah.
have the fan. I bought that today, actually. I should have done that. I should have done that years ago.
24-hour.
But I'm sitting here sweating, and I'm like, oh, I love this. I could do this forever. This is amazing. So anyways, I've had it for like 2 years, and when it's not snowing or raining, I daily it.
Wow,
No way.
that's awesome.
Fun though, right?
Let's
Look at that
say
thing.
we're good. 'Cause I haven't seen anyone here.
It's working its magic there.
Let's go to the tower. Yeah. Nobody has seen cars yet, right?
I'll hang out at the back of Tanner's Porsche.
All right. So we should be good. Don't go past 30. Let's obey their laws.
We're the real people, not the actors, but the real people.
Oh, that's awesome.
So in the movie Ford versus Ferrari, the little son
yeah.
who ends up watching his dad and end up
Yeah.
dying,
Yeah.
crashing at the end.
Kim
So
Miles' son,
Peter
yeah.
Miles, right?
Yeah.
So Peter Miles was at the event, and I went up to him, and he was signing autographs and stuff, and everyone was, and I was like, hey, look, would you come sign my dashboard? So all of these guys were like, oh, that's cool. So they all came over and they all started signing their. So I've got a bunch of signatures from dudes that built the car, guys from the
That's
movie, the actual
crazy.
pit crew, and then Peter Miles.
I'm gonna have to.
He smudged it right there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And it's like, "No, it's amazing. That's perfect. It's better than
That's awesome.
it's all smudged,
I'm gonna.
So we just finished up the photo portion of the first spot. Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Tanner finished up the first little bit of the shoot. Now a couple of us are hopping in the car to do rolling shots, and a couple of us are being positioned at this first tower to catch this banking right here. And yeah, so this is where we're going to be doing our first spot. Is right on this corner of the track in this banking. So should make some pretty sweet panic shots. I've never been on the motorsport campus here before. This is kind of sweet.
They told me to stop here. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till it starts blowing.
That was good?
Yeah, let's go.
We're almost there, guys.
What, Tanner? I'm getting the behind the scenes.
I
Come
love
on.
this, man. No idea.
Oh, dude, it's my language.
Oh, this is so sick. These photos are insane. You have to wait for the end of the video though to see the photos, because they're just looking at the preview on the camera, they're nuts. But just look at that. Insane. Alright guys, we're gonna wrap up the video here. This view is insane. This gorgeous sunset with the mountains. Porsche 906 right there. And just, it's so cool just getting to come hang out with a ton of friends. Thank you so much, Tanner, for inviting me out to do this and letting me be a part of this. So if you haven't followed him, make sure you are. Like, that's, you gotta go follow him. But I think we're gonna wrap up the video right here. Thank you again so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. And hope I catch you in the next one. Peace.